Looks at a 10-yard stance. Well, it doesn't look too bad actually, does it? Back tyre's flat, which is why it's a bit squat at the back. I've seen a lot worse. This is probably the best of the four cars that I bought. But it's in dire need of a lot of work. I don't worry about things like that because you can get different wings. Again, what I might do with this wing is chop chunks off it to repair other wings. Having that level of corrosion like that is pretty much resigns it to the scrap pile. Deck panel's not too bad. You can see this car was originally the gold colour, Bahama gold. There's lots of it showing around, although this metallic green colour that's currently is quite attractive, but it'll be going back to Bahama gold. Original rear bumper with its original end caps, which I'm going to use for patterns. Rear light units are there, but they're knackered. The D-post, original. All the side glasses are in there. I haven't date checked these glasses yet, but you can date check them using dots that are on the focus, dots that are on this. So you've got a dot above the E and you've got a dot below the G, and from that, if you go and Google it, you can date the glass. And this one here, dot above the E, dot below the O. So those two glasses are probably in the same sort of range. Doors on these are the slightly later type. You see it's got a rib top and bottom. That's a nice door that though, isn't it? Right, and on the inside edge, again, I can work with that, and inside it is really quite nice. So yet another passenger door I've got that's in good shape. A post, not bad, but ignore the floor area. We don't worry about things like floor areas. Keeps your feet nice and cold when you're driving. The B post, again, quite tidy. Sills are shot, but yeah, they always are on these. They're not difficult to replace. Well, not for me anyway. The rear rubbers, you can see on this one, this is how it was originally. So you can see that this stainless trim is tucked into a slot on this rubber at the bottom here. And they're a bugger to get in, and when the rubber's old and brittle, it's impossible to get them in. But the slidey windows work. Look at that. Although it's popped out of its runner at the front there. Now what happens is, these slidey windows, they actually go on these. There should be a spring clip in there that holds it tight to the bottom window. When that one and the one at the back come out, you can actually just lift the whole glass out. The glass just lifts out of the frame. I'm not going to do it now because you know what will happen. As far as the dash is concerned, completely and utterly unmessed with. Look at that. It's a perler. That's a beaut, isn't it? It's got a very, very slightly later, well, where the fuck handle's attached on much later cars. It's got a selection of gauges in it. What have we got? Oil pressure, clock, amps, and oil temperature. Useful selection of gauges. Heater's still in it. LT95 is still in it. Got the early plunger for the diff lock. No overdrive on it. It's got original seat bases in it on both sides. No, it hasn't. Seats have been changed. So the seat runners are different, but the seat bases are original. So what someone's done here is they've welded new runners onto old seat bases. So they're scrap. Fucking useless, isn't it? Right, but I've got another couple of seat bases, so that's not really a problem. What they should be is, if we look where they've welded here, that panel should come up like that, and then there's a hole through it that you put a roller onto that the seats are attached to. They've been adjusted, so they can go in the tip at the back. Now, this is where it starts getting interesting with this one, because that inner wing on that side doesn't look bad. And I reckon that's serviceable. I'll see when it all comes apart. Also interestingly, you can see that it's been painted the green colour, but underneath the green you can see the Bahama gold. In fact, underneath the side trims here, you might be able to see the gold. No, you can't. I'm not going to start yanking things apart. The doors on these, they're still closed, but they're not brilliant. Front wings again, both sides, they're pretty shot. I think it's been sitting in a hedge for a while. A post, happy enough with that. Screen's been out at some point because all the rubber that holds the screen in has disappeared, but that screen rubber's shot. Let me just see if there's any marking on the screen to indicate its manufacture, none. Front end, original bumper, later indicator side light on that side and on that side. That's not a problem. You can get the earlier ones. It's got the original early. No, it hasn't. They're H4s. These are not the sealed beam units. These are the ones that have the halogen bulb fits in from the back, but not a huge disaster. I'm thinking about getting H4s for the other car as well, rather than sealed beams, because it seems pointless to go backwards sometimes. Use of modern technology. Right, driver's door is a little tougher. It drops a little on its hinges. Again, though, the A post, if I hold the door on my leg, A post, yeah, well happy with that. Door, yeah, yet another fucked driver's door. I'm not sure if I can get any more fucked. I'm capitalising the market in good passenger doors and fucked driver's doors. Sorry for the language, chaps. B post, looking nice. All the trim down at the bottoms there. It's got the original door rubber along the bottom. Happy with that. Yeah, it's all good. Floors, I'm not bothered about this. This is normal. Gearbox cover in this, again, I'm happy with it. Is enough of the gearbox cover that I can restore that. In much the same way as I restored the one on the white car that I've been working on. What was a nice Phillips radio there. I wonder if it works. It's got a set of keys, ignition lock, early grey steering wheel. That's the sort of damage you see on the surround. You see there, got a lump taken out of it. But otherwise, that one is in good condition too, apart from that one lump. But it's a very unmessed with dashboard area. Messed up seat bases. So, door still closes, backer to open. I'm going to double check on the colour of this thing, because I'm not absolutely convinced that this whole car was Bahama Gold. Because looking inside, it might be Lincoln Green. And I'm wondering if it was Lincoln Green to start with and then changed. Don't know. Interesting though, bit of a project. This light green is recent. The dark green I'm looking at is on the inside the curtain of the rear wing. That's a Land Rover colour called Lincoln Green. If you can see there, and the door, and the A post, if you're going to focus, there we are, A post is all Lincoln Green. So I'm wondering if this car was Lincoln Green, and then been painted, or had some exterior panels put on it from a Bahama Gold car. We can do a bit of research around. So that's Lincoln Green up there as well. I think this car was Lincoln Green, not Bahama Gold. Not a disaster, because I quite like Lincoln Green. Okay, so what else can we say about this? It's got its original wheels on it. I've got no idea if the brakes are all in it. It has got, I had to tie this on because the tailgate doesn't do up. Let me pause a second and undo this. So again, we have got early headlining all at the back. It's tatty like they always are. It's got the D-post. Come on, get the light sorted out. There we are, D-post covers. It's got its original early struts, which predictably don't work. Probably find it's just one of them that's gone. That's all in good order. Goalpost on this car isn't as nice as it is on the bobtail. You can see here, Crossmember has got holes and stuff in it. That'll be replaced. And on the inside of the goalpost, that's all flat steel there. So I'll be able to repair it. On the outside though, there's a few holes and odds and sods. Nothing particularly nasty. But again, on this side here, that arch, apart from a couple of holes there you can see, it's not bad. I might be able to splice something into that, you know. It's quite tough. The rear crossmember is not attached to anything. I just realised when I push down on that, I'm pushing the whole rear crossmember down. So, yes, that's what they do when they rust. This area here, all along here, is it should be like that. And they start rusting out, and there's a body mount down there behind the bumper. And what happens is eventually this rots right the way through, and it allows the rear wings to wobble back and forth, and the tailgates start popping open. But again, replacing all of that. Nice early roof. No rear wash wipe, which is typical for these early cars. It's got an unusual rear window. I don't think I've seen one that's been fully heated across the full width. Normally they're heated just at the top end. What have we got here? Yes, this glass above the E, under the O. Focus, right. That one's newer. That one's got 2 dots above the T, 1 above the R, and 1 under the G. So that piece of glass there is different from the other bits that are on the car. That one's early, above the E. I can't see the other one. These things, they're always a bit of a bugger too. I don't know if that's going to open. No, I'm not even going to try that. What happens with the quarter lights is there's a pin that goes down into the door, like that sort of angle. And they get rusty. So the best thing to do with this, because I can see the state of the pillar here anyway, is to lift the whole door frame out and then take it from there. Interestingly, what's happened here is we've got a much later rubber trim, early rubber trim. Bum, bum, bum. Again, it's not uncommon to see rubber trim messed around with on these cars. This is the early style. So you end up with a piece of trim that goes up to there. Whole quarter light rubber is part of one moulding, okay? And then this piece is separate on the inside and the out. And then there's a closing piece that goes at the back to cover over that untidy bit. On this one, it's got a slightly later fuel cap as well, but again, that's fairly normal. On this one, you've got the rubber that goes around both sides. So that's just one piece of rubber, and it would have been connected originally to that, but it's snapped off, probably because of the rust on the inside. Now it's broken off on the inside. I wonder if the quarter light rubber's original, but the rest of it isn't. On the passenger side, you can see it's original. It's got the correct moulding. I'm trying to find a source for that early moulding that doesn't look boxy like this stuff. That's the boxy stuff. Hold that thought in your mind. You see this stuff's flatter, it's got a rounder profile. This is the early stuff. What you always find is the inside one is beautiful, the outside one's always rubbish. And you can see this quarter light rubber as well is tired. There's ways of rejuvenating this, and I will find a way of rejuvenating that, because I like to, when I restore these things, I like to try and keep as many of the original parts on the car as I possibly can. Obviously that screen rubber's going, because that is utterly ruined. But I see this quarter light rubber could potentially be saved. We'll see. Right, engine wise, there's no hinges on this bonnet, so I'm going to make a bit of a noise. Oh, that's a bit of a disappointment, isn't it? It's got an oil burner in it, but it has got all its brakes. So it's got all the brakes, clutch hydraulics, yeah, all of that's intact. Loom is intact. It's got 2 relays on the outside of the panel. That's unusual. One was normally on the inside. I wonder if the other relay has been moved. I don't know what the diesel engine is. Perhaps one of you guys can let me know. It's obviously non-turboed. It's quite a boom in here, because this bonnet, I'm talking under the bonnet, that's why it's booming. It's quite an old thing. I'll have to look at that, find out what engine that is. I'll let you guys know, unless someone can tell me. A fairly big old unit, 4-cylinder. Be a laugh to see if I can get that going. As far as the slam panel's concerned, early, except someone's drilled it for pins at some point. Inner wings on this, they're not horrific. I've seen a damn sight worse than that. I've seen an awful lot worse than that. It's got the early holder for the washer bottle, but the odd washer bottle, which I'm not going to go near the liquid in that. Battery tray. This is not bad shape, this inner wing. Inner wings at the front I might be able to salvage. It all depends on how bad they are behind the headlamps. I mean, there's a bit of rust along there. Again, flat steel, you can weld in there. Right, drop the body back down, please. That's getting heavy. Right, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to pump the tyres up, and then I'm going to move it into a location where I can store it until I can get it sorted out. As I say, get the polytunnel I'm going to take those comedy wheels off the front there, so at least I can steer it, because we can't steer the damn thing at the moment, because as soon as you put any lock on whatsoever, the wheel touches the arm at the back there. You can see where the wheel's just been wearing away at the rust on that. So I'm going to get these comedy wheels off, pump the rest of the tyres up, and then start moving things around. Gloves on, bloody cold. All right, another 2 cars arriving, as I say, tonight. We'll see what happens.